For those who are unfamiliar with the name Peter Hitchens, he is a UK-based journalist and writes for the infamous Daily Mail, as well as appearing regularly on talk radio. He's one of the only voices in the mainstream media that has consistently questioned lockdown. But this week he wrote in the Mail that he had taken the vaccine, justifying his actions by saying that his fight against lockdowns had failed and were futile, that vaccine passports looked inevitable, and as he had lots of family abroad, he had no choice but to take it. What stands out about his decision to capitulate is the timing. If he would have taken the vaccine when the vaccine passports were in place, and it was the only way he was going to get to see his family, that would have been wholly understandable. But he did it when there are only rumours about these so-called passports. So why take it now? Could someone have had a word in his ear telling him that enough is enough, and if he wants to keep his job, he'll have to take the vaccine, or at least tell everyone he has, and write some ill-thought-through article explaining why? These rumours about the vaccine passports are being used to persuade people to take the vaccine now. So he has jumped on the bandwagon and is now part of the propaganda machine persuading people to take the vaccine. So what can I learn from all this? Firstly, I've spent many hours watching him online argue the case that fitted well with my preconceived ideas and added to my cognitive bias. I am aware that I have a strong suspicion of anything governments and corporations do, especially pharmaceutical companies, and it seems clear to me that lockdowns cause a lot more problems and deaths than COVID does. Having said all that, I also recognise that as a layman, I really have no idea how the situation with this disease or any other global situation can be solved, and as life here has become so complex, I doubt anybody really knows what's going on or what to do about it, whether it's Bill Gates, the World Economic Forum, or any world leaders. There are huge egos at play, vast sums of money, and a web of interconnected problems, all of which must be understood. Furthermore, my hunch is that the COVID story is a distraction from the many serious perils that lie ahead, from climate change, species extinction, supply chain breakdown, to water wars, peak oil, pollution, nuclear war, financial meltdown, inequality, civil unrest, more serious pandemics, and according to Elon Musk, the biggest threat being artificial intelligence. Peter Hitchens has taught me to question whether I should give much or any time to the COVID story. He has reminded me that fighting the machine seems futile. There is nothing that I can do to influence government policy, and that by watching people like him, I am strengthening my cognitive bias and deluding myself into thinking I know anything about the situation and about what should be done about it, and if I did, I have any power to change anything. He also reminded me that the problems that COVID have confirmed are deep-rooted and fundamental, and that only if those problems are addressed will we have any chance of prolonging our time here as a species. Those problems are the capitalist system itself and the huge amount of structural violence, destruction and waste it encourages, and that the super rich control the arms, money, medicine and media and can switch off anyone they want to who doesn't toe the party line whenever they want, just like they did with Peter. COVID is distracting us from this vital point, and the problem is that those in control, pulling the strings behind the scenes, are not going to give up their lust for control and power anytime soon, which means that we are heading downhill fast. If you want to entertain yourself with alternatives to the system, have a listen to Peter Joseph's podcast series Revolution Now. I'll put the link in below. However, I can't see how it would ever be implemented, as it's far too intelligent and compassionate to be taken on by the crazy people in power. So without any hope, it then brings me right back to my own circle of influence and my own decisions. I can't control who takes the vaccine or not even in my immediate family. I can't control what governments around the world do or do not do. I can only make my own choices day to day, and even those are probably not being made by me, as I am unsure that any of us really have free choice. It brings me back to the topic that is in my mind most worthy of discussion, the question of whether, given COVID and all the other problems mentioned above, we should be bringing more life and therefore more problems into existence. And that is the question I encourage you to keep on exploring with your friends and family.